Hello family, welcome to another beautiful edition of Annie Autos channel. If today's your first day watching me, please hit the red button that says subscribe and you will be among the very first people that will be notified whenever I post something new. If you're a returning fan, family, subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really love you. Alright guys, so in today's edition, I'm going to be talking about bullying and I'm going to zoom in on school bullying, okay? So among our middle school and high school students, there have been a very skyrocketing number of bullying incidences in our schools. About 77% of our students are being bullied each year. Ironically and unfortunately, only 32% of the bullying incidences are being reported by the students. Okay, guys, so what can we do to help our children? How can we notice that something is wrong with our children from school? And what can the school do to help us? Who do we hold responsible for this? All right, guys, so let's sit back and listen as we watch this video. So what exactly is bullying? According to the U.S. Department of Education and other mental health professionals, bullying is an unwanted physical or verbal aggression that is directed to a victim or a particular person and is repeated over a period of time. It involves an imbalance in power and it also an act to exclude a victim from a group. Okay? So it comes in a form of harassment, name calling, gossiping, outing, rumors, spreading of rumors, threats, and other forms of intimidation. Okay? And it also involves meanness and hurtful and hateful words directed towards the victim. So in moving forward, we have to understand the types of bullying. You know, there are so many types of bullying. I will first of all go according to the most pronounced ones. So physical bullying, this involves when the victim is being hurt by the person that is bullying this person, this other student. The person becomes very physical aggressive. They hit the victim, they spit on them, they pinch them, they throw stuff at them, they wound them, they give physical marks on them, and they are pushing them, they are throwing things at them. This is known as physical bullying. Another one is verbal bullying. You know, when they say stuff to them like mean and hateful, hurtful stuff to the victim. You know, they talk about their appearance, you know, they say things that will irritate the other person, you know, they call them names, they insult them and assault them. It can be sexually as well. And they kind of mimic them when they say something. They make comments when they say something. They make some verbal threats to the victim. Another one is relationship bullying. You know, this is when your friend or somebody that pretends to be your friend hold you that in a way of ransom, like if you don't do this, they will do this. If you don't do that, they will do that. That's another way of bullying. Then another one is reactive bullying. You know, when the person that is being bullied gets so angry and this person starts doing stuff to hurt other people too. That's reactive bullying. Then another one is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is mainly online. You know, text messages, emails, they use computer and other electronic equipment to do the cyberbullying. You know, they can go to all these social media apps and start, you know, picking on somebody, saying stuff to somebody, testing somebody, you know, some derogatory words or hateful, meanful things to the other person through these electronics equipments, okay? So the most pronounced risk factors of being bullied is known to be, you know, low understanding of emotional or social interaction. So if you see a student that doesn't, you know, socialize with the other kids the way they want him or her to socialize with them, or a quiet student, a quiet person that is mainly on their own, that kind of student can easily be a victim of bullying, because the other student would take advantage of his or her quietness, or being separate, or being by himself or herself. Okay, another factor is tendency to becoming upset easily. You know, some kids have that tendency of becoming upset. Every little thing they get upset, things come their way, they get upset, things don't go their way, they get upset. Other kids might take advantage of it and start mimicking them, upsetting them, and just picking on them just to see him or her react the way he or she does. Another one is suffering from anxiety and depression. You know, some kids also have these psychological issues or psychiatric issues, anxiety or depression, maybe from something we don't even know. So when they get to school, this is bothering them. Then other kids will take advantage of that situation. Or maybe these students have ADHD. You see that kind of child, some other kids will take advantage of this particular child. Then another one is obesity or being underweight. Either way, you see kids just start picking on others. Maybe this kid is chubby, they pick on them. Maybe this kid is so skinny, they pick on them. Maybe this kid is too tall, they pick on them. Maybe this kid is too short, they pick on them. They just find something to pick on other kids. So those that pick on other kids, they just find something. They just find something. That's just what they do. Another one is disability. Maybe this kid have problem with sight and wearing glasses, you know, extra thick eye glasses, lenses. You see other kids pick on him or her. Maybe this kid is using wheelchair. You see other kids pick on this child. This child is using walker. You see them pick on this kid. So there are so many disabilities that this kid might pick on. Maybe this other child has autism spectrum. You see other kids pick on them. That person becomes a victim of bullying because of his or her disabilities. Then another one is just being an immigrant. Yes, or a descendant of an immigrant. They see the last name, laughing at their accent. If the kids come over from overseas, you know, they have this distinctive accent. You see other kids picking on them or mimicking them, you know, or maybe those from African descent, they have darker type of skin. You see other kids picking on them because of that. Maybe they have some type of braids. You see other people picking on them because of that. So there are so many other things, you know, other can make a child to be a victim of bullying. So what are the signs and symptoms to look at for if your child is being bullied at school? Okay, if your child comes home with unexpected injuries, yes, you see your child with marks, scratches, or maybe swollen arm, broken arm or leg, or maybe red spot on the eye or anything, even teeth broken. You need to find out what happened at school. So that's why it's very, very important for us parents to keep a close relationship with our children to see what is happening. I have fallen short of this, okay? I have a 13-year-old that was being bullied at school. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it on time, but when I did, I took a very swift action to get to the bottom of it, okay? So this is what we need to do as parents. Take a closer look at your child. What is different? What about, did you look at this child? Did he come home with the injury? Is he limping? You need to find out what is happening at school, okay? Or maybe he comes home, his items are missing. Did another kid take it away from him or her by force? Or they made him to give it away? So we need to pay closer attention to our kids, okay? So you find out that your child is easily irritated. You need to look out for that. You find out that your child is depressed, anxious, or being secluded or isolating himself or herself more. You need to look out for that. Or your child grade in school is declining. He or she is failing and he or she have not been in that situation before. You need to find out. Or your child have no interest going to school. You need to find out what is happening at school. Or your child is having nightmare, bedwetting all of a sudden. You need to find out what are the causes of this, okay? Or your child is having suicidal ideation or attempting suicide. You need to find out what are the causes of this. What is pushing him or her to this extreme? Another thing, what are the effects of bullying? Okay? What are the effects of bullying? The effects of bullying can be many. The child can be vandalizing things. You see your child breaking things, hitting things, or acting out. Those are the effects of bullying. Or you see your child the child might start using substances, smoking, all kinds of things. That might be effects of bullying. Probably he or she was forced to do that from those bullying him or her. Okay? Then another thing, you see the grades dropping. That's the effects of bullying, because this child cannot concentrate at school. The child cannot pay attention to classes or lectures. The child cannot even go to lectures or even go to the cafeteria because of those people bullying him or her. And again, all of a sudden, your child starts misbehaving, having these ADHD issues going on. You need to find out what are the causes, okay? Or maybe your child has this vulnerability attitude. That's effects of being bullied at school. Or your child have this suicidal ideation, thoughts of hurting himself or hurting someone else. We need to be careful. Things are happening these days. If you notice that your child is being bullied, what can you do as a parent? Okay? I will tell you, encourage your child to speak out. This is not a time to get mad at your child. This is not a time to punish your child or to discipline your child. Show that child love. Bring him or her closer. Encourage that child to open up and tell you all that have transpired and what is happening at school. What scares him or her more? Who is hurting him or her? Encourage that child to speak up. That's the first step to getting these issues resolved. You got to show that child love so that that child will have more confidence in you, that you are there to help her. Even if you are the parents or grandparents or guardian, you need to show that child lots of love, okay? Another thing you can do, remain calm, supportive, and reassuring, okay? This is not a time to raise your voice. This is not a time to show that you are disappointed in your child. Just remain calm and listen to your child attentively. Show to that child, express to that child, tell that child that you are there for him or her, and you will support him all the way, and you will find solution to the problem. And you just keep reassuring this child. Give him a hug, give her a hug, okay? If you can, take him or her out to a place that you can sit quietly with this child, maybe in a restaurant. Let him or her order something that she likes, or ask her what movie, ask him or her what movie the person might want to watch. You go and sit there and just hold his or her hand and talk to this child one-on-one, heart to heart. Let him or her feel that you are there to support him or her all the way. You are not there to criticize him or her. You are not there to punish him or discipline him. Just reassuring him or her is very, very good, okay? Then another thing, do not blame that child. No. Once you start blaming, that child is going to hold back and it's going to get worse. The child is not going to open up. Then another thing, change the school for this child, please. You have to remove this child from that toxic environment, even if you have to follow some issues with the school. But first of all, remove your child from this toxic environment. Find another school for this child as soon as possible. Pull this child out of that toxic environment. Your child is not going to excel in that environment. Rather, he is going to go further down. God forbid that he start having some terrible thoughts. Okay? So you need to get your child away from danger. That's what you need to do as a parent. Okay? Then another thing you need to do, address this issue with the school. Once you have pulled your child out, okay? First of all, when this issue start happening, go to the school principal, the school counselor, and address this issue so that you have a record that you have been doing something, but don't keep it for so long. Please do not keep this thing going on for so long. As soon as you notice it, Take action. If it's not taken care of, pull your child away from that school, because the stressors and the bullying folks are still there. If your child is in middle school, remember, according to your school district, the same group of bullying students will follow your child to high school, and the bullying will continue. So that's why you need to get your child away from that school and find another nearby school that have the same zip code, or even if the school doesn't have the same zip code, but take your child there. It can only take you time to drop and pick him or her up from school, and that is better for you and that child. Okay, then another thing you can do, seek psychiatric or psychological evaluation and counseling. Yes, for that child to be able to get adequate attention needed according to how deep this is. Seek for evaluation and follow it up with counseling, okay, with therapy. That will help that child to regain his or her self-esteem, because these children that are being bullied, they shrunk in, they hold back, they lose their social skills. So going through therapy is going to help this child to get back on track and do better in life. Okay? Then another thing you can do, consider anti-anxiety and anti-depression medication. So depending on what is going on, if therapy doesn't help and you find that this child is so anxious, so depressed, you might want to put this child on a low dose of antidepressants or low dose of anti-anxiety medication. Mainly the anti-anxiety medication, you can do it as needed, okay? But again, you have to do therapy and counseling first and see how the child does. Most of the kids will get out of it. They will snap out of it, depending on how deep they have been in this. So that's why you need to watch your kid closely to make sure he or she is not being bullied. So go back to the signs and symptoms that I have mentioned, and that will help you to evaluate your child very promptly so that you can take action very promptly. No kid deserves to be bullied. No kid deserves to be tortured by another kid. And I urge every parent to raise their kid right. Bullying parents will raise bullying children. That's the way it is. So make sure you raise your child right. Instill good morals in your children. It is your responsibility as a parent to raise your kid right. How to relate to other people and show love and peace and comfort to other people. Please, parents, guidance, grandparents, raise your kids right. It is your primary responsibility to raise a good citizen of the country you reside in or the country you have moved into. Please. All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching another beautiful edition of Annie Autos channel. I love you guys. Please do not forget to share, like, comment on my video. See you next time. Bye, guys.